Edo City Diaspora Resettled Fishermen Association and said while they are not against the ongoing construction of the road, they expect the company to create an alternative source of income for them. Should the company do that? Is the company in charge of doing that?
I think that's the job of the government, not the company. The company is just simply doing its job.
It's a contract. So the government should be in charge. But then again, it takes us to proper orientation of people who live in our communities, because people expect that when there's a company there, like whatever happens, the company should do this, the company should do that. In this case, I don't think the company can do anything with finding an alternative source for you, but negotiations can be entered into to see how they can. If we don't know what is blocking the waterway, the routes for their fishing, if it's their equipment or whatever, if they can do something about those, that can be discussed, but the government would in best position to do that. Let's listen to the women again.
Since 2018, where Vega been blocked our way, then small pre-winkle where we dey speak, we not get no way for go. Even our husband, then they fishing now, only fishing now we dey be on, or to paddle ourselves, go pick the small pre-winkle where we dey pick, then we eat. So we come to report our Papa Wiki, say make it help us.
Then block our way. We are fishing women and fishing men. We no fit pass, go pick Isam or Prevenco or Ngbe.
They don't allow also go fishing. And our fishing, we dey fishing before we dey eat. We dey suffer. Our picking, then when they want go school, we not get money for buy uniform for them. We not get money for buy book. Now in all day, they say no day. That mopo then pursue us say no day, may we not enter. But we don't carry motor. Motor we enter come now. We been don't beg the man make he can carry we come. Yeah, so that if he did drive and now call us, no man we pay him money. We not get one naira for pay him.
Also speaking, the children of the protesting women who are between the ages of 10 and 12 appealed for educational support from the River State government. But then we know that there's free education, so all these people need to do is take their kids to the school. Doesn't the free education cover school uniforms and certain books to start up with?
Yeah, that's what we're told.
So they should just take the kids to school and be a part of it. Anyways, let's listen to the children first and hear what they have to say.
We are here to see the government to please come to our aid to give us scholarships so that we can do our work. For me, I want to be a medical doctor in future.
My coming here is that how the General Special Company has blocked up all the waterways, crippled their business. They was not able to put us to school as Governor Wike assigned for free education. Yes, he assigned for free education, but there is no money for our parents to buy our school uniform, our school bags, our sandals, and many other things like food that we can eat to school. I'm here to see the state government to help to please come to my by giving me scholarship because that we used to pass and go to prayer to go and pick periwinkle. I used to follow people to go and pick periwinkle because my father is dead.
So, according to the reports from our correspondents, no official of the government house came out to address the protesters. Well, that happens a lot of the times. But is it possible for government to provide alternative means of fishing for these women? Is another question that needs to be looked into. But before we go any further, let's go straight to the phone lines first and get your thoughts. Hello and good evening.
Andrew. Hello, Andrew.
Go ahead.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Name is Prince Andy calling from Rundele.
All right, shoot, Andy.
First, your apology has been accepted. For coming late, we have accepted your apology.
Thank you very much.
Let me go straight to the line. I sincerely sympathize with the common men and women in the streets, especially that of the rural areas. Andrew, there is a lot of suffering. I know what I am saying.
Yeah.
There is a lot of suffering from the streets. I was listening to your program by 2 o'clock and I wanted to comment, but I did not have the opportunity. I would have given you a direct information. I had it bright itself. But that's by the way. And if there's anything government can do to see how it can solve, I know it cannot solve all. Let him solve and help the people. The suffering this time around is becoming excessive much. And I just want to narrow it down to it is all about man inhumanity to man. Because it is just man that knows how to address that same issue, that will neglect the issue and cause pain to the people. That's what is just going on. Why not just give those people that access? Rather, you search them and allow them access the creek, get what they want, and sell back to us. You preventing them is for like today. I was searching for Prewinkle, the big ones, but I didn't see. and they will give you complaints like, no, they're not remote enter creek, all those kind of stuff. Andrew, it's really unfair. If there's anything government can do, because people are complaining and yet they decide to give us death years, and it's highly unfair. And I know that there is a way forward. There is a way that government can create easy access and so many other things so that the people can easy their pains, and the pain will be less, and the stress and the suffering will not be much on the people. People are suffering.
Hello, good evening.
Andrew.
Gift. How's your Negua? Good evening.
Negua is fine, my brother. Good evening. Well,
good evening.
Yeah, you guys are doing very well. Yes. Concerning, let me just contribute to the kids that they interviewed. Frankly speaking, as a person, Andrew, I don't know if you have children. I don't know, but as I speak with you, I have.
So I don't have yet.
You don't have yet.
Yes.
Very soon you will join the club. I pray so. Yes. Andrew, I don't want to mention the amount I pay as school fees for my children. Some persons will use some certain words against me, but that is the fact and the truth. Say, if you know you cannot take care of children, please, I'm begging all of us, this government and no government stuff, free education. So you mean if you don't have food in your house, the government should provide food for you? If you don't have sandals, you want the government to provide sandals for you? It is not bad if they can contribute to that. I don't have any problem with it. But if you are not seeing those things and there is free education, does that stop you as a parent to provide school uniform, then food that your child will take to school? Andrew, at times, the way we behave in this country, I don't just get it. Everybody is shouting, I'm poor, I'm suffering, I'm this, I'm that. There's a way, I don't want to go into details, but at least these minor things, wealth, please try and advise us. I don't know how to even, I don't know where to start from.
All right,
so you mean after giving birth to your kid, you cannot provide sandals? Take care, Andrew. I don't want to
Thank you very much, Gift. But I think I understand the angle from which you're taking this, and it's very true. But then you can't take away the fact that, yes, some people really are suffering to that point. I mean, if you listen to that clip very well, you could hear the ladies talking about even the transport to pay the person that brought them for the protest, the driver or something. They don't have the monies. On the second thought, you look at it, after saying what the child said about food to eat, if they go home that day, aren't they going to eat? So, it's now both ways. I think it's about the kind of consciousness that we've carried over the years to feel like you could hold the government for everything and anything, and this is how it's an idea. But it doesn't take away the fact that there are people who really are suffering and can't afford these things as well.
But then again, as he said, when it comes to your children, I mean, you've seen the state of the economy, all right? You've seen the state of things in the society. You have to curtail the number of kids.
Yes, and some
of
us like that who can't afford these things have 7, 5, 6 children. So that's also another thing.
Yeah, so apparently the perspective from which he's coming from is still valid.
Hello, Today95.1 FM. Good evening. All right, well, what's that? Cool. Well, let's leave that issue and get on to something else. This one concerns the situation in Taraba State. Remember, a panel was set up to investigate the killing of 3 police officers and in Taraba State, and they have blamed the poor development on poor communication between the Nigerian army and the Nigerian police force for what happened. This was contained in a report of the panel that was circulated in the media, which comes at exactly 2 months after the incident. Like this, it took them that long? And the probe panel said it observed that there was non-adherence to the standard operating procedure by both the policemen and the soldiers involved in the incident. I've always been one who's been saying, what has happened to this? We're no longer hearing anything from that report. Okay, who are we arrested? Well, finally, the report was signed by the Acting Director of Defense Information, Colonel Onyema Nwachukwu. It subsequently recommended punishment for the army captain, and this time they mentioned names. I've always been critical of the names that they don't mention when these things happen. But this time they said punishment for the Army Captain Tijani Balarabe, Sergeant Ibrahim Mohammed, Corporal Bartholomew Obanye, DCO of EB Police Division, Assistant Superintendent of Police Aondona IOB, and Inspector Aliyu Daje, all for complacency. They should be punished. Are we going to see that happen? Is another thing now.
Apparently we are. I mean, this shows that, as you said, they don't come out with names. And then if the names are out, it then means that they're down for...
Well, the panel also made recommendations to avert recurrence of clashes between the Nigerian army and the Nigerian police. All right. So you'd recall that after the killing of the policeman that led to the release of a kidnapped kingpin in Taraba State, the president actually ordered for the immediate investigation into the unfortunate incident. I don't know how many of us have seen the full report, but from what you have just heard, are you satisfied with the outcome of the panel's decision? At the end of the day, what they arrived at. Also from the report, recommendations were made, but they were not made public. What are those recommendations? I think for security reasons, they might not want to make that public, and it's understandable. What do you perceive may have been recommended in the circumstance? That is one. And the IMF also have said that the economy of the country is still struggling under the current policies of the federal government. IMF Mission Chief for Nigeria, Amine Mati, actually said this one. And Mati came to this conclusion after a study of recent economic and financial developments and review reform implementation. It was carried out in Lagos and Abuja by IMF staffs. He also added that at the end of the assessment, they discovered that a slow economic recovery is continuing, inflation is falling, while external buffers are declining in the face of increased portfolio outflows. He said elevated fiscal deficit currently rely on Central Bank of Nigeria financing, thus complicating monetary policy stance, adding that action on a coherent and coordinated set of policies is urgently needed. Perhaps the new economic team that the president has put up together will come up with some advice on what we should do. That's the hope, and that's what we'll be waiting for.
That's their job, right? That's why they that's why they make.
That's why they got to that position and made it in that team. And the president had a meeting with them today. We don't know what conclusions they've come to, but bear in mind that the president met them. And what is it that we are not doing right? Why is the economy the way it is? What are we not doing right? Some people will call in and say the border now. Please don't do this. I don't think it's the border. That's more we need to do. We're more of a consuming state than a producing one. And so if you're going to close borders and say we want to grow what's inside, close all round. Give a time frame. For me personally, I'm tired of towards the end of the year, we'll close borders more. And then we open it later.
Time frame and target.
And target. We want to achieve this. And so we're empowering people who produce this. You produce cars, you produce that, you produce this, you produce this, you produce that, you produce that, you produce that. Everybody start producing in the country. And this is, we're reducing the importation, whatever, to this level. We're shutting the borders partially, if not completely, because of some treaty that you've entered. It'll be difficult. I mean, we just signed the free trade agreement with some African countries, so it's impossible to completely shut your borders. But I'm pretty sure there are other ways you can go around it to help grow your country. I mean, that is something we should think about. So let's know what your thoughts are on these new issues. The panel that was set up to look into the killings that happened in Taraba State between the army and the police have come out and mentioned some names and said those people should be punished, and recommendations were made. Hello. Oh, goodness, we lost that call. 081700000951 and 0810951091. Those are the numbers for you to call. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Andrew.
Oh, gift your back. Go ahead.
Yes, let me talk about Taraba.
All right.
Andrew, up till now, they are talking about punish. What kind of punishment they are talking of?
That wasn't stated too.
This is why from day one the police has been complaining. Why not allow the police that is saddled with that very responsibility to take up this matter? It's just a delay tactics. We should forget about this whole thing. Delay tactics. They don't want to punish their own. Allow police to do the investigation. Allow police to carry out anything that they are supposed. They will take you to court after investigation. Not army setting up committees. From one committee, they will recommend again. Is that their job?
But they have internal mechanism of settling these things within the military ranks and
In terms
It's not a
of
civil
this
matter, is it?
Capital punishment is a separate matter. It's not that type. Yes, they don't need to set up committee. This one is different from that one. We are talking about murder. You murdered 3 senior police officers. 3 best police officers in this country, according to the records on ground. What are they not telling us? For that, nothing will come out. Just wait.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gift, for your contribution. Remember that the SMS portal is open, so you can send us WhatsApp messages, WhatsApp messages 0701-933-9962. That is the WhatsApp portal. You can send a WhatsApp message if you want to call. Numbers are 081700000951 and 0810-9510951. That is the number to call. What do you make of the report from the panel set up to look into the killing of 3 police officers in the clash between the military and the police in Taraba State that led to the release of a kidnapped kingpin? That's a question that needs to be answered, and we're looking at that one. And let's also not forget the IMF saying the economy of the country at the moment is really, really slow, and the policies that are on ground aren't helping too much. More needs to be done urgently if Nigeria is to get out of the situation that it is at the moment.
Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, this is Ben.
All right, Ben, calling from where?
Calling from Abua.
Okay, Ben.
Yes, I thank you so much for all the programs you've been putting in place. I specifically want to look at the wobbling economy, Nigerian economy. Yes, I have only this one question to ask. Nigeria have been struggling about this economy since the date of independence, which we all know. For about 59 years today, Nigeria have been struggling about keeping the economy safe and better for her citizens. But till date, everything runs down the same way. But I want to ask this question. Can a nation survive? Hello?
Go on.
Yeah, can a nation survive without actually knowing its population trend? If Nigeria actually are serious about this wobbling economy, let her know the stage and the capacity of the population, and then divide it according to resources that are in the country. Let people who are actually the technical.
Hello. Hello. Sadly, we lost that call, and that would be our last one on the show. We don't have enough time to take another one. Wish we could. Once again, we'd love to apologize for coming way behind schedule. That's the reason why we're not accommodating much of your contributions on the platform today. But this is where we wrap things up. Tomorrow is another day, and we are going to make it better. It was put together by our news department. Victor Ezeama was in charge of this one. It's been myself, Andrew, and
Wealth Wilson.
Good evening. Bye-bye for now.
Every day, we hear the call by communities for companies to perform better social corporate responsibilities. Organizations have decried the ease of doing business in Rivers State. For there to be development in the state, there must be a working relationship between organizations and communities.
These foreign companies come to Nigeria, devastate our environment, cut away our resources, and go and develop their own country.
Your Premium Talker Radio will be providing a platform for organizations and communities to dialogue, as we will be gathering stakeholders from within and outside Rivers State and the Niger Delta at large. The summit is tagged fostering better relations between host communities and organizations.
Like I said, we are suffering. We can't even fish. Also, we also want them.
Only on your premium talk radio, Today 95.1 FM.
Every day, every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM.
Good evening and welcome to today's edition of Bits and Pieces here on your premium talk radio station, Today 95.1 FM. I am Ifeimi Andrew. We bring you a report from Edo State, which says the police have begun a manhunt for a suspected rapist who forcefully had carnal knowledge of a 17-year-old sales girl and killed her in the process. The report said Peace Onaiwu was found dead inside a shop where she worked as a sales girl at the Owasota Junction, Ubowo, in Ego local government area of the state. Police report revealed how the victim's lifeless body was found with her underwear removed while her head was covered with a black bag. While residents wondered how the assailant snuck into the shop in broad daylight, raped and murdered their neighbor without being noticed, the police are said to have made some arrests in relation to the ugly incident. Elsewhere, a 25-year-old man identified as Ibrahim Musa is reported to have been arraigned before an upper area court for allegedly defiling his neighbor's 7-year-old daughter. Musa has been tried for defiling a minor, which he allegedly lured into his house. The prosecuting officer, Sergeant Godwin Edger, told the court that one Mrs. Thomas revealed how Musa, who is her neighbor, lured her 7-year-old daughter and had sex with her.